Silence is one of the most misunderstood pleasures in the modern world. And if you're someone who genuinely enjoys it, you've probably felt that subtle sense of being different without quite knowing why. From the outside, silence looks empty, awkward, even lonely. But for those who are drawn to it, silence is not the absence of sound. It is a presence. It has texture, weight, and meaning. It is a space where thoughts stretch out, emotions settle, and something deeper begins to speak. Today, we're stepping into that space not to analyze it clinically, but to understand the hidden psychology of people who enjoy silence, because once you truly see what's happening beneath the surface, you'll never look at quiet moments the same way again. And if this kind of exploration feels like home to you, staying connected here will make a lot of sense as we keep going deeper together. People who enjoy silence often notice early in life that noise affects them differently. Loud environments don't just distract them, they drain them. Conversations that jump from topic to topic can feel like mental static. This doesn't mean they dislike people or fear interaction. In fact, many of them are deeply empathetic and observant. The difference is that their minds are highly sensitive receivers. They pick up on tone, pauses, micro expressions, and emotional undercurrents that others miss. Silence gives their nervous system room to breathe. It's like turning off a flickering light so your eyes can finally adjust to the dark and start seeing what's really there. Psychologically, this sensitivity is often linked to heightened internal processing. While many people think externally, reacting to what's happening around them, those who enjoy silence are constantly integrating information internally. Their minds are always working, but quietly. Noise competes with that inner dialogue. Silence, on the other hand, collaborates with it. In quiet moments, their thoughts don't disappear. They organize themselves. Ideas connect. Emotions untangle. The world becomes clearer, not duller. This is why silence feels nourishing rather than boring. There's also a strong connection between enjoying silence and a deep relationship with meaning. Silence removes distractions, and without distractions, you're left with yourself. For many people, that's uncomfortable, but for those who seek silence, this self-contact feels honest. It's where they reflect on who they are, what they value, and what truly matters. They're not escaping the world, they're digesting it. Silence becomes a psychological laboratory where life experiences are examined and understood. Interestingly, people who enjoy silence often have a heightened tolerance for ambiguity. They don't need constant stimulation or validation to feel okay. In a quiet room, they're not anxiously waiting for something to happen. They're already happening internally. This ability is closely tied to emotional maturity. When you're comfortable with silence, you're usually comfortable with your own thoughts and feelings, even the uncomfortable ones. You don't need to drown them out with noise. This is why silence often feels intimate. It strips away performance. In silence, there's no audience, no immediate feedback, no pressure to respond. You can simply be. Many people avoid silence because it confronts them with unresolved emotions or unanswered questions. Those who enjoy silence have either learned to sit with these things or have discovered that facing them is less painful than running forever. Silence becomes a trusted companion rather than a threat. There's a fascinating neurological layer here too. Studies on brain activity show that quiet states allow the brain's default mode network to activate more freely. This network is associated with self-reflection, memory consolidation, and creative insight. People who enjoy silence often report having their best ideas when they're alone and quiet, not because they're trying to think, but because their minds are finally allowed to wander naturally. Silence creates the conditions for insight to emerge spontaneously. This is one reason so many writers, philosophers, and artists throughout history sought solitude and silence. Figures like Carl Jung believed that silence was essential for accessing the deeper layers of the psyche. Jung spoke about the importance of confronting the unconscious, and silence is one of the most direct gateways to that encounter. Without constant external input, the mind turns inward, and what it finds there can be surprising, uncomfortable, or profoundly illuminating. People who enjoy silence also tend to have a strong sense of autonomy. They don't rely heavily on external stimulation to regulate their mood. This doesn't mean they never enjoy social energy, music, or conversation. It means those things are choices, not necessities. Silence is their baseline. From that baseline, they can engage with the world intentionally rather than compulsively. This sense of choice creates psychological resilience. When life becomes chaotic, silence remains a refuge that's always available. Another often overlooked trait is how deeply people who enjoy silence listen. Because they're not uncomfortable with pauses, they don't rush to fill gaps in conversation. They allow others to speak fully, to think, to feel. This makes them powerful listeners. People often feel strangely understood around them, even if very little is said. Silence in this context becomes a form of communication. It says, "I'm here. Take your time." In a world addicted to speed and noise, that can feel almost sacred. There's also a link between enjoying silence and a non-linear sense of time. When things are quiet, time stretches. Minutes feel longer, but not in a stressful way. This expanded sense of time allows for depth. People who enjoy silence often prefer fewer experiences that are meaningful over many experiences that are shallow. They savor moments rather than rush through them. Silence helps slow life down to a human pace. Of course, enjoying silence is often misunderstood. Quiet people are labeled as shy, antisocial, or detached. But silence is not the same as withdrawal. In many cases, it's the opposite. It's a way of engaging more deeply with reality. Some of the most perceptive and emotionally intelligent people are quiet because they're constantly observing, processing, and understanding. They don't need to announce themselves loudly to exist fully. It's worth noting that enjoying silence doesn't mean avoiding connection. Many people who cherish silence crave deep, meaningful relationships. They just prefer quality over quantity. Superficial chatter feels draining, while shared silence with someone they trust can feel incredibly intimate. Sitting together without speaking, fully comfortable, is a rare and profound form of connection that only certain people truly appreciate. Psychologist and author Susan Cain explored this idea extensively, highlighting how society often undervalues quiet strengths. People who enjoy silence often possess rich inner worlds, strong moral compasses, and a capacity for deep focus. These traits don't always shine in loud environments, but they are invaluable in thoughtful decision-making, creativity, and emotional insight. Silence also plays a crucial role in emotional regulation. When emotions run high, noise can amplify stress. Silence, by contrast, allows the nervous system to downshift. People who enjoy silence often instinctively seek it during emotional overload, not to suppress feelings, but to process them safely. In quiet moments, emotions can rise and fall naturally without being interrupted or intensified by external chaos. There's a subtle confidence that comes with enjoying silence. You're not afraid of being alone with your thoughts. You don't panic when there's nothing demanding your attention. This confidence isn't loud or flashy, it's grounded. It's the confidence of someone who knows they can sit with themselves and be okay. That kind of self-trust is rare, and it often develops slowly over time through repeated encounters with silence. Creativity is another domain where silence reveals its power. Many people assume creativity requires constant stimulation, but for those who enjoy silence, creativity often emerges from stillness. In quiet moments, the mind makes unexpected connections. Ideas surface from beneath the noise. This is closely related to the concept of flow described by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, where deep focus and immersion lead to optimal experience. Silence makes flow easier to access because it removes friction. If you're resonating with this so far, it might be because you've felt these patterns in your own life without having language for them. That's part of why these conversations matter. Understanding yourself doesn't make you different, it makes you clearer. And clarity is something we'll keep building together, so staying close to this space might be more valuable than you realize. People who enjoy silence also tend to be more comfortable with existential questions. Silence creates space for big thoughts about purpose, mortality, identity, and meaning. While others may distract themselves from these questions, silent-minded individuals often sit with them. This doesn't mean they always find answers. Sometimes the value lies in the questioning itself. Silence allows these questions to exist without needing immediate resolution. There's also a spiritual dimension to silence that transcends any specific belief system. Across cultures and traditions, silence has been associated with wisdom, insight, and transcendence. Even outside formal spirituality, people who enjoy silence often describe a sense of connection to something larger than themselves when they're quiet. It might be nature, humanity, or simply the flow of existence. Silence dissolves the boundaries between the self and the world, if only briefly. Modern life, however, makes silence increasingly rare. Notifications, background noise, and constant content consumption leave little room for quiet. This can make people who enjoy silence feel out of place or even guilty for needing it. But psychologically, silence is not a luxury. It's a necessity for certain minds. Depriving someone of silence is like depriving a runner of space to move. Eventually, something breaks. This is why people who enjoy silence often protect it fiercely. They create routines, boundaries, and environments that preserve quiet. This isn't selfishness, it's self-regulation. They know that without silence, their mental and emotional health suffers. With it, they function at their best. They become more present, more patient, more alive. Silence also sharpens perception. When there's less noise, subtle details stand out. The rhythm of breathing, the shift of light, the emotional tone of a room. People who enjoy silence often notice things others overlook. This heightened awareness can make them excellent problem solvers, artists, or caregivers. They respond not just to what is said, but to what is implied, withheld, or felt. There's an interesting paradox here. The more comfortable you are with silence, the more powerful your words become. When you don't speak constantly, people listen when you do. Silence gives weight to expression. People who enjoy silence often choose their words carefully, not because they're insecure, but because they respect the impact of language. They understand that words shape reality, and silence helps them choose wisely. As we move deeper into this topic, it becomes clear that enjoying silence is not about rejecting the world. It's about engaging with it on your own terms. It's about creating space to think, feel, and exist authentically. In a culture that equates noise with importance, choosing silence is quietly radical. If you've ever felt out of sync with a loud world, know that there's nothing wrong with you. Your attraction to silence may be one of your greatest strengths. It's a sign of depth, sensitivity, and inner richness. And the more you understand it, the more you can use it intentionally rather than defensively. We're only scratching the surface here, and there's so much more to uncover about how silence shapes identity, relationships, and purpose. If this exploration feels like something you want more of, staying connected ensures you won't miss the next layer when it unfolds. Silence, after all, reveals its secrets slowly, and those who are patient enough to listen are rewarded. Ultimately, the psychology of people who enjoy silence teaches us something profound about human nature. Not all fulfillment comes from accumulation. Not all connection requires constant exchange. Sometimes the deepest experiences happen when nothing is being said at all. Silence is not empty. It is full of insight, presence, and possibility. And for those who understand it, silence is not a retreat from life. It is a return to it. As you sit with these ideas, maybe notice how silence feels to you right now. Not as an absence, but as a space. A space where understanding can settle and curiosity can grow. This is the kind of space we'll continue to explore together, quietly, deeply, and without rushing, because some of the most important truths don't need to be shouted to be heard.